this is Ashley Howard with Ashley Howard Teaches, and I'm so excited to bring to you CC Cycle 2 Week 19 Tutor Plans. If you are just joining me, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. I always love for new people to join this homeschooling journey with me. So please hit that like button also if you get value out of this video. All right, so let's get started with math. So this week for math, we're doing the area of a circle. And what I love to do is get painter's tape out, and I'll make a giant circle in my room. Alternately, if you have hula hoops, those make great circles too, and you can put 2 or 3 out there for your students. All right, so what I like to do is line them up behind the circle, and we'll jump in and out, we'll walk backwards, we'll march, we'll skip along the circle, we can hop in and out of the circle, we can pretend like the circle's hot lava, and we have to jump in and out of the hot lava. So many fun things to do with that. And also we'll learn hand motions. So typically I like to learn our hand motions first so I know they know the words, and then we'll go around and do our fun things on the circle. So for our hand motions this week, for area of a circle, we're gonna say the area, and we're gonna make a circle with our hands, equals, and we'll make the equal signs with our arms like this. And then for pie, we're gonna pretend like we're eating our favorite flavor of pie, like this. And then for 3.14, we're gonna go 3.14. And I like to have them practice that a couple times because that's kind of wordy. And then for times, we're gonna make a giant X like this. And then for radius, we're gonna go like this and make an R, sign language R. And then squared, we're gonna put 2 fingers up like this. All right, so those are hand motions. We'll go through those 2 or 3 times, and I'll have them learn those. I can also pull one student up in the front and say, who wants to give it a try, and tell the rest of the class the hand motions, and let them practice that way too. And then we'll do our fun things on our circle. So we can have a lot of fun with math and learn so much. All right, so that's our math for this week. Let's move on to science. So if you remember, in the weeks before, we were doing Newton's laws of motion, and now we are moving on to the first law of thermodynamics. All right, so cool that our kids can learn this at such a young age. So for science this week, for our hand motions, for first law, we're going to go like this. And then for thermodynamics, we're gonna pretend like we put a thermometer in our mouth like this. And then for energy, we're gonna put our hands like this, and we're gonna wave around like this. And then for cannot be, we're gonna make a giant X like this. And then for created, we're gonna go like this, like we're making something with our hands. And then for destroyed, we're gonna drop to the ground. So we're gonna go destroyed and drop to the ground. So those are our hand motions for science. So for a little fun hands-on thing for first law of thermodynamics, I like to give them all a piece of Play-Doh, and we'll sit at the table, and I'll have them make a giant ball. We'll state the first law of thermodynamics, and then as we were saying, created, we'll make our ball even bigger. And then for destroyed, we'll squish our ball. So it's gonna be a fun hands-on way. So after we have talked about our Latin and what it starts with, I like to make a giant hopscotch that's on my floor using painter tape, and I'll put the different ones in there, and they get to each hop along as they say them. And sometimes I'll say, use 1 foot this time, use double feet. And so we can have fun. You can also put have them throw a little dice out there, and they have to pick up the dice as they say them. There's so many fun ways to do hopscotch, but that just keeps them moving, keeps them excited about learning. All right, so that is our Latin for this week. Let's move on to history. Okay, so this week for history, we're talking about the Korean War. All right, so for 1950, we're gonna go 5-0. And sorry if that's backwards. I can never tell when I'm doing a video which way is the right way. So anyway, it's 5-0. All right, and then for general, we're gonna go like this. And then for MacArthur, we're gonna make a giant M like this. And then for lead, we're gonna march like this in place. And then for United Nations, we're gonna join our hands together like this. And then for stop, we're going to go like this. And then for North Korea, we're gonna have our K, and we're gonna go up. And then for capture, we're gonna go like this. And then for South Korea, we're gonna sign S, and we're gonna sling down to the ground like a melting ice cube. All right, so those are our hand motions for history this week. So we'll do all those 2 or 3 times and really learn our hand motions. All right, after we've done our hand motions a couple times, we're gonna move on to our silly voices, our fun actions, our jumping jacks, our march in place while we say them, our mouse squeaky voice always seems to be a favorite, or opera voice, or dinosaur voice, depending on your class. For the older crowd, sometimes they're too the voices and they might not like this as much. So I like to do jumping jacks or lunges or run in place, different ones like that. So that's what I'll do for the older ones. All right, so let's move on to English. So for English this week for a gerund, I'm gonna give each person a snowball. And I know I talked about snowballs last week. So if you don't have snowballs, get a piece of paper that's splatted up. That's just the same, just as good. I know sometimes we have to be creative with what we have. Maybe have some tennis balls, something like that. And what I like to do is have a bucket. I find that sometimes when I get to these last new grammar terms, they're kind of starting to tune out and I want to keep them excited about learning. So what I'll have them do is sit in a circle. They each get one of these, and before they use them, I might have them put them behind their back. Before they use them, they're going to tell me, I'm going to point to them and they're going to say part of our sentence. So we'll go through a couple times, talk about what a gerund is, and then I'm going to point to each person and they're going to fill in a part of the gerund. And they're going to say a couple words. So we're going to go through, we're going to point, and we're going to say some of the words. And if they don't know, I'm going to help them. And then after we've gone through that a couple times and they get the pattern, then I'm going to have them grab their snowball. And as they say 2 or 3 words, they get to throw it in. Now, if they know the whole thing, that's perfect. They can say the whole thing. But we'll go through and they'll kind of throw that in as they say it. And that just makes it fun, keeps them busy, keeps them having fun. All right, so that is our English this week. Let's move on to geography. All right, so for geography this week, I like to use little tiny M&Ms, those mini M&Ms that you find on the checkout line. Those are perfect for our geography locations this week. So what you can do is go from low to high as you say the different locations. So one location will be lower, and then as you get to the next one, you say that one higher until you're really high up. And then you can say, okay, let's say them now, but we're gonna say them in a high voice and then go down to a low voice. And then you might do a quiet whispery voice and then to a loud voice and then a loud voice to a quiet voice. So just some different fun ways to have fun during geography. I always like to make it interesting and keep the kids engaged when I'm tutoring. All right, so that is our new grammar this week. We have finished all of it. Now, if you're getting value of this video or it's helpful at all, I would love for you to hit that like button, comment below, tell me. I've loved hearing what year you are in tutoring. It has been such a blessing to me. So keep those comments coming. I love to hear about it. Also, if you have any struggles in tutoring or things that you would like more information on or help on, I would love to help you with that as well. All right, so let's get started with review. Okay, so for review the games this week, I'm going to use one of the ideas that I saw one of my sweet friends using. So good, especially for those littler ages. I love this one and had to use it. All right, so they answer a question and then you call out an action. Now, this is helpful if you have an open space that you can move to. Sometimes some campuses will have a field, or maybe you have a basketball court or somewhere where you have a little bit more open of a space. And don't worry, if you have only a small space, I will get back to you on a fun review game. But what they do is you draw out the next action and they all line up, and maybe it's hop like frogs, and so they all go down and they hop like frogs, or run really fast. And they all get their energy out, and each time they're answering questions and then coming back. And it saves you a lot of time because they're answering a question so quickly, and then they're getting to do their fun activities. So they're happy and engaged, they love it, and you're getting them their review questions and they're learning so much. So that's a fun one if you have a bigger space in a bigger area. There's so many you can choose from and they just really love it. You can do bear crawls and different fun things like that. So for those smaller areas, I love to play that thumbs up, 7-up. I don't even remember exactly what it's called, and I may be aging myself a little bit, but where you have your thumb up like this, everyone else is closing their eyes with their head down, and you have one person who's the volunteer to come push somebody's finger down, and then they go sit down really quick and they have to guess who pushed their finger down. All right, so that's kind of a fun one. It's kind of old school, but it's still fun and so relevant. And then whoever gets picked, or if they do get picked or don't get picked, they get to do a new review question. So that's kind of a fun one. You may have to mix in something a little more active if they stay engaged for maybe 15 minutes, and then you could do something like dominoes, where each kid earns 5 dominoes and you set up a big domino track going where they're all set up, so at the very end you can put a marble down and let them push those dominoes over. So that's kind of a fun one too, and that one can even be done by itself. All right, so I hope those review ideas were helpful. If you have a chance, share this video with a friend. That would help so much. I so appreciate all of you that come here. It's such a blessing. I'm enjoying getting to know some of you more. So please keep leaving your comments. I love hearing from you. And I always love hearing any comments or questions you have as well. All right, so keep them coming. I will see you next time. Goodbye.